And hello, my fellow nerds out there. This is Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back to Who is the Red Queen? Now, I am disappointed in you guys. None of you even saw nor even commented on my previous part. I simply asked the question, should we search for the Cheshire Cat or check out the party? And no one even said anything. In fact, nobody even watched my latest part. I understand, but don't get me wrong, it's fine. YouTube is kind of iffy on which videos should be recommended or not. I don't know, but any of you who is a long-time subscriber, first of all, thank you for your support. And, second of all, I mean, I'm not really mad, just a little disappointed. But I'm just gonna have to leave the choice up to myself. So I think we should try to search for the Cheshire Cat. Because I feel like Cheshire Cat knows something about the Red Queen. I feel like if we talk to her, maybe she'll tell us something about one of the parts. So yeah, let's go ahead and search for her. I returned to the path. I couldn't leave the cat's matter alone. Thinking of her taunting flick, I had no idea where she could be, for she would always appear and disappear as she pleased. I returned to the endless tea party. I had a quick chat with the Hatter to find out. Are you acquainted with the Cheshire Cat? The Hatter's eyes narrowed. Cheshire? The Hatter moved Dormouse as if she were upset. Oh, the little mouse has a tear in her eye. That's adorable. She's scary. The Hatter moved March Hare as if he were exasperated. Always stays up in the trees. Hatter smiled as she spoke. She's usually around the northern end of the forest. The cat always says she has business, so she can't stay for tea. Even though I've never invited her. The Hatter grinned. Yes, we're acquaintances, but definitely not friends. If you're looking for that cat, don't bring her back here. We're low on seats as is. And then she sneered. Next thing you know, you'll have to be chopped up to fit in the teapot. Ta-da! Ta-ta! The trio of one gave me a jaunty wave. Taking the Hatter's words, I started off to explore the forest north. I walked down many twists and turns, stumbling across uneven ground. The path was rougher here and the foliage thicker. I found not another living being in sight, no cats nor others. After a while, I reached a place with two signs pointing opposite directions. One read cliff and the other not a cliff. I let a chuckle that they were straightforward enough signs, but I couldn't see where they led past bushes blocking eye beyond their arrows. Dingling! The ring of a small bell entered my ears, followed by the clatter of metal shackles. Cheshire Cat? I received a response. Accompanying me here was only a breeze that would sometimes hit the leaves of the trees around me. I heard a soft rustling noise, but when I looked towards the sound, I saw nothing. I tilted my head to look further upward, and the world shifted. The air was pushed out of my lungs. A black and orange blur crashed down on me with great momentum from the sky and slammed me to the ground. If my head had hit a different way, my skull would have been a cracked egg on the ground. I moved just in time to harshly bang my shoulder instead. I thought I'd get it done in one shot. The blur, the Cheshire Cat, filled my spinning field of view. She wrapped both hands around my neck, digging with her sharp nails. Oh, am I gonna die? Her left arm flickered in and out of existence, as if it wasn't really there, creating an unbalanced pleasure in my throat. Her grip tightened, drawing blood. I couldn't breathe. She squeezed even tighter. I tried to pry her fingers off of my own. My twitching hands clawed at her constricting grip, even scratching and even scratched my own neck. More of the pain of the flesh wounds. Flesh wounds. If you know the reference, then let me know. I was going lightheaded from the lack of air. I just barely forced her off my neck. I wheezed and coughed to catch my breath. She grabbed my collar and gripped on the left, flickering in and out, and slammed me back on the ground after lifting me up a little. What? I couldn't even ask why she was doing this as vertigo overwhelmed me. Kicking and flailing randomly, I managed to push her off for a moment. I had to reorient myself, get to my feet, just roll away from her somehow. Which way? Oh god, I actually don't know. I'm gonna save here because I feel like both of them are gonna be cliffs. I don't know. I'm gonna go with not a cliff. I tumbled through the bushes, rolling in the direction the sign said was not a cliff. As I made a good distance from the cat, I felt that the ground disappeared underneath me. Whoosh! It was all air below me. In desperate fail, I grabbed onto a rock on the cliffside with one hand. I should have expected this from Wonderland. My injured shoulder throbbed as I tried to use that arm's hand for a second. Point to the second point on the cliff, I found that I couldn't pull my weight with that side. My uninjured side barely clung on. The rock dug into my flesh and fingers creaked. A trickle of blood started down my palm. The rock as well shuddered as the hairline fracture showed itself. I tried to find a foothold in my legs, but even the slightest swing could throw me downward to my demise. With the angle of the cliff, I had no way to try. I winced. Still here? The Cheshire Cat looked down on me. Pacing back and forth, she pretended to contemplate what to do next while her shoulders shook with mirth. I squeezed my eyes shut to try to block out my dizziness. Why are you doing this? I had a bit of revelation that Wonderland was mad, that's all. You and I, we're all mad. We both seem to have forgotten something very important. Even now, I can't seem to remember what it is. It's just a bout of madness, Alice. I see. Sweat, probably more blood than sweat, made my grip on the rock slippery. Amusement at seeing me struggle showed on the cat's face as her grin grew and tail of black flame roared. I don't suppose you'd help me up? Depends on what you mean. She extended her right arm and grabbed my wrist. With a firm pull, she tore my hand off my rock and held me up by the wrist. I saw a daytime sky. I dangled in midair, feeling her lift me upward, and let go. Air whooshed past my ears. Long live the Queen. I was falling. Crack. Dead end. Oh, are you kidding? Death 3. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, this time let's go ahead and roll towards the cliff side. Obviously not a cliff is a cliff, so cliff is probably not a cliff. I tumbled to the bushes in the direction labeled as cliff. As a sign around here had nonsense written on them many times more than not, as I expected, my chosen direction had no cliff in sight. I shakily got to my feet and watched the cat do as well. She immediately lunged at me again. This time I was more prepared. I kneed her in the stomach as she approached. Ho ho ho! That's what I'm talking about! Grabbing her right shoulder and twisting while hooking my foot on hers. Forcing her arm down, I heard a slight cracking noise and made her fall to the ground with a thump. So I'm gonna make the text box a bit more opaque. Just in case, I kicked her away a bit. Her body was light, like a cat. I'm waiting for an explanation. She started to fade away, but I stepped on her before she could get away. After a quick struggle, she relented and got up to her feet without any further fading. The cat snarled, dusting off her body. The Cheshire Cat frowned. I hadn't realized who you were before. My cloak may have a hood, but you've seen my face many times already, Cheshire Cat. She scowled. Wonderland's twisted up in time. She jeered. That sort of logic doesn't work here. It's mad, all mad. You might be Alice, but who is Alice? And that's the question we have to ask. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. Start with, you don't know anything. Do you even know who you are, Alice? I'm Alice, that is all. That was my sole certainty. She returned to a frown deep in thought. But who in the world is Alice? An outsider, a temporary visitor? I've just about figured out most of the most important part. If you figured it out, I don't suppose you'd tell me. You are... She grimaced in pain. She pressed her hand against her head. She didn't look. Then she took on a jeer. Somehow you're much too similar to the Mad Queen. Oh, about that Mad Queen. You've been looking for her, but let me tell you this. She's been dead for a while now. Although I think you should already know. She scowled. I can't put into words for some reason. Maybe it's just the way you look at the world, but you're definitely the same type of person. In which way? Are you just trusting some gut feeling, some delusion, that I might be the same as someone whom I've never met? Or as you say, someone who is long dead? She stared at me with determination. This world can't afford another Red Queen. We've not even the chance of one. She vanished, taking the chance in our conversation. Criminals needed to be locked up. I looked all around, hearing the faintest sound of her shackles, telling me that she was nearby, but I could not see her actual presence. So why don't you do me a favor, Alice? Just go ahead and die. Her voice danced through the air formlessly. You have no qualification to enact your form of justice, Cat. That really is just like her to say. She appeared behind me and attacked again. We fell to the ground to tussle once more. She clawed at me a few times, but I gradually gained the advantage. The cat favored her right arm rather than her left arm. Rather, her left arm acted transient, coming in and out of existence, forcing her to avoid relying on it. Her handicap forced her to falter more than my now numb shoulder did me. She fought like an animal. To be fair, she was an animal. Biting, clawing, and all the likes, she came at me with the intent to kill. We continued till we were both bloodied and bruised. I punched her straight in the face, causing her to seemingly bite her tongue and choke up a mouthful of red. Ooh, ouch! Her head bounced on the ground, throwing her next moves into disarray. I hit the cat again, and again. Doing this with my bare hands wasn't exhilarating as much as it was just a matter of fact. I decided that I preferred that nuisance out of my hair. I noticed that her right arm was stitched on. The arm felt familiar, as if it didn't belong to the Cheshire Cat. Alice, that cat was also a thief. I wanted that arm. Ask for it, tear it off? Oh my god. What do I do? What do I do? I don't think asking for it is gonna help. And plus, we're in the middle of a battle, so you might as well just tear it off. I'm gonna save real quick, just in case one of these options leads me to death. But I kind of want to see what happens, so let's just see what happens if we just ask for it. That arm doesn't belong to you. Give it back, Cheshire Cat. Why should I? I asked politely because I would prefer you to let you part with it on your own terms. If I must, I will take more drastic measures. The cat squirmed under me, but I forced her down, sitting atop her body. I have no intention of staying in Wonderland. My current adventures through this world are entirely to find a way back to my own world. As such, Cheshire, you would hand over that arm. then we should have no further interactions. I will endeavor not to meet with you again unless it has to do with my way home. I can't fight anymore. Attention left her muscles, signaling me that she had given up. She let out a scornful bark like a laugh as she acquiesced. Fine, I'll give you the arm. So get off. She made a weak motion to push me off. No, give me the arm first. Fine. Bruised black and blue, bloody from our brawl, the Cheshire Cat twisted her stolen arm and looking at it hesitantly as if unwilling to lose it. She shook her head, a faint cracking noise from her neck made her let out a whine of pain. She nudged her cape closer to her face and bit into it. Ugh. Then with a flickering left arm, the body twisted in an odd position under me. She tore the arm off of her own body with a slow and bloody rip. Oh, God. I heard the oddest sounds of flesh being rent from flesh. But through the cape come muffled groans. Tears glittered in her eyes. After what seemed like an eternity, the cat chucked the removed arm to the side. Blood dripped out of the stump, which the limb was removed. The limb too made a crimson mess on the grass. Is that enough for you, Alice? I nodded. Now get off! I stood up from the cat, feeling a wave of dizziness hit me, along with the throbbing headache. She rolled over in pain and started pushing herself up, stumbling and falling a number of times onto the grass with an ugly red splat. Finally, limping to her feet, the Cheshire Cat vanished. Now there was no more Cheshire Cat. I picked up the severed right arm and the limb appeared different now that it was detached from the Cheshire Cat. It more resembled its fellow limbs, sans a regal torn sleeve. The broken shackle about its wrist fell off without me having to do a thing. Alice, did you recognize this arm? Yes, I answered. This was the Red Queen's arm. A jolt of pain burst through my head. I did not know why I knew, and amidst my agony, I did not have a heart to care. I stumbled, clutching my head. The world warped and blurred around me. I felt dizzy looking at the distorted landscape, or perhaps my dizziness itself distorted the landscape into an undulating thing that made me want to vomit. As my adrenaline drained, the results of the fight began to show themselves. My whole body felt sore. However, the raging headache pounding at my skull would not subside. Black and red began to fill my vision. Oh, the ground shifted beneath my feet. Maybe falling, Alice was falling. My world turned to darkness, and all I heard was laughter. Thump. I slowly opened my blurry eyes to the sky. It was a starry night sky. A terrible headache battered my skull. I felt as if I had forgotten something very important. So disoriented I was. I had no idea where I was. I patted around me and noticed I still had the limb I just retrieved with me. My head hurt. Hearing footsteps, I pushed myself, sitting up in position, and saw her. Oh, do I get to choose who I saw? Okay, I'm gonna save here. Oh yeah, I just realized we're in chapter 2 now. We haven't seen the White Queen in a while. Oh, who do we choose? Let's just go with the Hatter. Looking around, I found that I was at the Hatter's place. Ugh! I started to talk only for my throat to feel like sandpaper. Each time I blinked, my eyelids grew heavy again. A chill ran through my whole body. Uncomfortable, that was all I could say I felt. Although I had experienced quite a bit since coming to Wonderland, I had not thought what I would catch a cold. Certainly that fight with the cat had battered me up. Don't speak, Alice. You're burning up, so no tea for you today. It must have still been tea time, for it was always tea time. However, today the Hatter decided to put the tea aside, even at a tea time for the sick me. She brought a cup of water to my lips, tilting it for me to drink. I drank and choked. Coughing and sputtering, I felt her wipe away the water that spilt. If you drink too quickly, you'll drown. She handed me the cup directly, fingers just barely avoiding mine, but also grasping the cup firmly until she knew that I wouldn't drop it. Drink water slowly, Alice. I've got to get something off the stove. Seeing that I had the cup in hand, she hopped off in the direction of the stove. I thought back to when we first met. At that time, the thing that stuck on the stove had been a hammer, so I hoped that she would bring back something more pleasant. I sipped from the water cup and waited, setting it aside once I finished. She returned with a bowl of porridge in hand. Sitting down next to me, she scooped a spoonful of porridge and blew it lightly to cool it down. As the porridge temperature settled, she moved the spoon towards my mouth. I inadvertently opened my mouth like a baby bird. I can eat myself. I would rather you not cannibalize yourself. That's not what she meant, Hatter, but okay. She fed me the porridge spoonful by spoonful. Once the porridge was finished, she put the bowl away and gave me another cup of water. While letting me sip the water, she wiped away the sweat on my forehead. You're good at taking care of people. Really? I've never quite had... My words drifted off in silence as I thought back to what little I had to say about taking care of others, and being taken care of. Hatter, the limb. I'll put it away for you. You know me so well, Hatter, and... I could barely keep my eyes open. Rest well. The Hatter placed a cool, trembling hand on my forehead. And into the realm of hypnose I fell. After a few good days of rest under the Hatter's care, I recovered to full health. I hadn't been so sick in years. Thank you, Hatter. What for? Don't linger too long in this crowded place. Off you go. Don't you have some body parts left to find, Alice? So I do. Seeing me once more healthy, she shooed me away. I was back on the forest path. The Red Queen was nearly assembled, missing only her head and a fourth limb. Onward I continued with my search, so that she could send me home. I took the invitation that the White Rabbit had delivered to me. Running my fingers across the paper, the envelope, the imprint was wax sealed, some sort of animal. I tore the invitation open. Inside I found a card and read it to myself. Alice, the Duchess requests the honor of your presence at her ball. Today, tomorrow, time eternal. The Duchess's estate, the Manor. You are required to bring a companion. Flipping the card over, I noticed something of a crudely drawn map. I followed the lines on the map and somehow pinpointed where I was in relation to the Manor. I held nothing to bring to a party, nor did I have a readily available guest. I pondered about whether I should go or not, seeing as that I could put it off indefinitely, but with the Red Queen's pot still missing, perhaps someone there would know. A duchess should have been close to the Queen, for example. That at least the tutors had mentioned. As for my +1, my mind wandered to my very few human I feel like I should save for this one as well. I'm gonna save in 2 slots. Let's go with the White Queen this time. Because why not? Because we haven't interacted with her that much as of late, so let's go ahead with the White Queen. I invited the White Queen, feeling that she would be most fitting a guest to a noble's ball. I found her in her garden. She gave me a pleasant smile. White Queen, won't you accompany me to a ball? She appeared contemplative. A small frown adorned her features. I will attend if you like me to. I'm not much for parties, but just this once, with you, would be alright. Whose ball and when? The Duchess' ball. The White Rabbit gave me the invitation to what she claimed would be an endless party. I dug out the invitation and let the White Queen see. The White Queen smiled. The Duchess's ball. Then we should be in no hurry. Alice, would you like to try on a dress? It seems fitting that you were going to a ball, but you might just not have one, as you aren't from around these parts. She seemed excited. At my nod, she had a whole wardrobe of dresses and accessories brought out to let me try them on. Lace and frills, silk and cotton, ribbons in various color, and glittering gems with variety. Not a single thing had been touched or worn before, as if unwanted gifts. They were pretty, but not quite her. The White Queen looked a bit shy, but amused. I might understand why children like to doll up pretty girls. I'm not particularly. We tried a number of different outfits. I changed into the next dress, a red dress. Feeling the comfortable fabric on my skin, I twirled around to feel the dress. The White Queen appeared hesitant, sad even. Red suits you, Alice. It does, doesn't it? For a moment, her gaze went far, far away. But perhaps not today. Must I wear a dress? I did not plan to be here for long enough to deal with the consequences, even if I particularly offended anyone. My plan was, and continued to be, to gather the Red Queen to leave. Therefore, if we would realign her gaze, then I preferred not to wear a dress. No, you need not worry about a dress. If you prefer not to, the Duchess won't be bothered. She smiled. I did say that I could see the future, did I not? Let me reassure you of that, Alice. She too seemed relieved that I chose not to wear this dress. The dress must have been tailored for someone special, as it did not match the White Queen at all. I changed back to my own clothes, feeling my cloak snug around me. This suits me best. In exchange for that fun, will you allow me to do your makeup? Do your makeup? I don't see why not. Fairy servants lugged over a makeup kit, bowing to me and her as they set it down. I looked at her face, the curve of her jawline and the shape of her lips. Seeing her up close, I felt a little flustered because she was so pretty. Aw, does Alice like the White Queen? That's adorable. With the tools given, I traced over her features. Alice, was she not already perfect? What was there to even cover up and make more beautiful? Truly, this was my white bird. Whose? Not wanting to ruin her features, I drew a very little on only dusting a light layer of blush on her cheeks. My hand hesitated. The whole while she smiled. She shifted when the blush tickled her. Fiddling with the makeup tools, I retreated. That should be all. I didn't poke you, did I? I felt not a thing at all. Alice, you are in fact a very gentle person. A fairy servant brought her a mirror, called with a simple gesture from the White Queen. Looking upon my handiwork, I found that she looked no different from before, pretty and white. Still, she seemed pleased. As I decided not to dress up, the White Queen chose to do the same. Shall we go? I extended a hand towards her. The White Queen looked sheepish. Certainly. She called the carriage a pretty crystal thing whose coachman sat invisibly with but a shadow. The horses, too, were nowhere to be seen, like fairies. We entered the carriage and off it went. I looked outside the windows, seeing familiar yet unfamiliar scenery, some places I had never passed by, even when coming to a garden. Our ride stopped amongst a number of other carriages. I aligned helping her down, and we walked up to the Duchess's manor. It resembled a large white castle, towering against the day's sky with the pointed roofing. A guard stopped us at the entrance. Halt! Please show your invitation card. I handed the guard the card. I can't speak today. I handed the guard our card. He looked it over, glancing at me and the White Queen before stiffening in surprise. Your Majesty, the White Queen! Making eyes toward another guard, the guard gestured and led us inward a few steps through the entranceway. The guards followed quickly darted inside as if to report the appearance of a rare visitor. To enter, guests must provide an arm. The arm will be returned to you whenever you wish to leave. An arm? A limb? The guard nodded. Yes, I'm afraid I cannot make an exception for anyone. Offer my own arm? Offer the Red Queen's arm? Why would I offer the Red Queen's arm? I need her to escape. But he did say the arm will be returned to me, right? Oh, what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't take it? What if he doesn't give it back? Oh, and I can't save. You're kidding. I need to think about this for a second. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and offer the Red Queen's arm. I feel like if I offer my own arm, he's gonna chop it off. And I kind of need my arm, so let's just see what happens. I'm a limb. Certainly, I had one I could obtain from the Mad Hatter. I glanced towards the White Queen, thinking of how I had never mentioned the Hatters in my agreement. That agreement of blasphemy and lèse-majesté. For reasons unknown, I felt strongly that the White Queen knew more about the Red Queen's dismemberment than I did. Perhaps she did not lie about knowing the future. Alice, of course she did. Let's go ask the Hatter. The Hatter? The one who lives in the woods and cannot sing? Are there many Hatters in Wonderland? Perhaps there were, just not many satisfactory enough. Without asking further questions, she followed my lead to go find the Hatter. Hey, we have them in the same place now! Arriving at the Hatter's place, I found the Hatter having her usual tea time, chatting with the puppets in her hand. She spotted us sitting up straighter in her seat, seemingly surprised at seeing the White Queen. A darkness stirred in her mismatched eyes as she saw my guest. The Hatter seemed to sneer. Your Majesty, the White Queen! No room. 3, 4, 5. 5's enough for all the people in this world. The White Queen appeared troubled as the Hatter continued to sneer. Don't be so rude to Her Majesty, the White Queen. You wouldn't want your heads to go flying. I didn't bother to take a seat to this visit, knowing that if I were to lounge on my armchair, I would stay here with the Hatter for much too long. We aren't here for tea, Hatter. The White Queen seemed to smile. White Queen smiled a little. The Hatter, too, gave me a friendly and pleasant expression as I spoke. A real shame, but rather an arm, preferably detached from anything else. Yes? The Hatter looked down at her own limbs. The White Queen looked hesitant. One of that person's would sacrifice. We only need to borrow one for a bit. The White Queen gave the Hatter a shy smile. An arm would be appreciated, Hatter. The Hatter gave a wide grin. Is that so? Shan gave a cheeky wink. Your Majesty, you'd like to borrow a limb? I'm surprised. After all, you were the one who did that. Did you lose it? What I mean to ask is, did you lose your trash? The White Queen frowned at the Hatter's words. Her brows furrowed in anger. I have no idea what you're talking about. The Hatter grinned again. I forgot that it was supposed to be a secret. I suppose I shouldn't show my gratitude and instead reflect on my rudeness. My sincerest apologies. The White Queen appeared troubled as the Hatter sneered. Sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to mention the choppity chop. Our heads haven't been the same since they fell off the first time. A bit of an open secret, don't you think? The White Queen looked disgusted. I ask you not to speak of that matter. I understand. Our lips are sealed. Zip tighter than a tight. A sad expression adorned the White Queen's features. Regarding that arm, Hatter, she finally smiled smiled a little when I spoke. The Hatter grinned. Of course, Alice. You were the one who found it. The Hatter hopped over to the dog cage, kicked it open, and pulling out an arm like a bear fishing out of a stream. She looked quite devilish. She held it far from her as it began to flail and chucked it my way over to the table. The White Queen looked troubled. The limb flew in uneven arc through the air, forcing me to dash towards the piece of meat. I just barely caught it in my arms, nearly stumbling into the White Queen who stood near me. Her arm. The White Queen's eyes bored into the severed arm with a distorted intensity. There was a smile on her face. The Hatter grinned with her brows still knitted in a devilish manner. Bring it back later, Alice. I will. The Queen frowned. Saying goodbye to the Hatter, we returned to the Duchess Manor. The guard greeted us and we handed over the arm we retrieved. His gaze lingered on the White Queen after asserting the validity of the arm as an entrance fee. Even he must have noticed that she seemed reluctant to part with a limb. The guard handed our entrance fee off to a servant who put it in a sealed box and took it away for safekeeping nonetheless. Please enter, esteemed guest. See, I mean, if I had to sacrifice a Red Queen part or my own arm, I'd rather give up the Red Queen part. I don't want to be losing my arm. We arrived at the Duchess's ballroom. The floor was wide and open and remarkably polished. Golden chandeliers hung above the light reflecting against the door. The floor, my bad. Oh, I'm tired. A few chairs sat between the large rounded windows. A painting sat on the farthest wall. Although the hostess was nowhere to be found, servants milled around the floor with refreshments for guests. A quartet performed in the front. Food sat on the tables and to the sides of the room. All around were faceless people dressed up like clowns. The moment the White Queen stepped foot into the room, all heads turned towards her. A horde approached us, circling around the White Queen so that she could not easily escape, yet they kept their distance as if gazing upon a rare zoo animal. Greetings to your Majesty the White Queen. Have you been well? We have nothing but gratitude for all you've done for this kingdom in the face of tyranny. Her Majesty was... Oh no, was this still a difficult topic to speak of? You'll jinx it! If you speak of the devil will appear! Your Majesty, what would you come to visit our Marquisdom? Marquisdom? What the heck is a Marquisdom? Oh. Hold on, let me roll back real quick. What the heck is a Marquisdom? Meaning. See, Marquisdom, a Marquis said, nobles of a Marquisdom of Solace. Yeah, but what does it mean though? Let's see. Cloth covering wrapped around or something as a wound or a baby. Impounding up Amphilos. Wait, okay, so let's see. Mid 16th century, earliest use found in John Pagslov, teacher, scholar of languages. Maybe it's just Marcus Sate? I have no idea what it is. It's like none of these websites are helping me. Anyways, your hair is as beautiful as snow today. No wonder you were so adored. Your beauty was such that even she was so enamored with your presence. She was we shouldn't speak of her. I wish I could touch your skin. That's creepy, dude. You did us a good deed. A paragon of virtue. The heavens must sing your praises. You are truly the queen with divine right to watch over Wonderland. It must weigh heavily on you to have had to take drastic measures. Okay, seriously, can I just get to the party part? Come on, people. What are you plans now on the empty throne? The rabbit and animal still think she can be found. This is what we get for letting vermin rise up the ranks. No, but no one else wanted to be in that position. You say that because you're incompetent. Truly, this kingdom might fall into disarray, Your Majesty. Do you have? Oh my God! Seriously, doesn't always. Your husband isn't exactly right here right now. Wasn't he banned for making a ruckus? Jesus, I'm sorry. Basically, the White Queen did something. That's all I'm getting from this. The White Queen appeared quite bored. White Queen? My hand brushing against hers, I was sick of hearing all the drivels leaking from the faceless crowd's mouths, like half-chewed slop. She nodded. She took on a professional expression. We must go see the Duchess now to talk about matters of the Red Queen. Upon mention of the Red Queen from the White Queen's mouth, the pigs surrounding the White Queen collectively gasped and took a few steps back. Could it be? She nodded ambiguously, causing them to scatter with one excuse or another. There was a smile on her face. Soon a servant approached, telling us that the Duchess was ready to meet us in the parlor, and that we could head over as soon as we wanted. Her smile turned troubled. I spoke too soon. Was that simply a bluff to make them back away? Yes. It may be just as well that we meet the Duchess because you're searching for the Red Queen to find your way back home. Shall we? I followed the White Queen through the manor hallways, glancing left and right at familiar unfamiliars. The long hallways were just as regal as the ballroom. Red carpets rolled out along their lengths. Alice, the Duchess must have redecorated. What unspoken good deed have you done that the swine, those nobility, would not leave you alone, White Queen? She made a sad smile. Absolutely nothing. She stopped. I stopped. The Duchess welcomes you. The guard before a room bowed and opened the door, letting us into the Duchess's parlor. I wonder what the Duchess looks like. I really want to see what her design looks like. It'd be so cool to see it. It was quite open, with 2 brown sofas on either end of a coffee table for guests. Tasteful and subtle art pieces hung on the walls, one of an angel and on one wall, and another of a devil on the opposite. I actually do notice that. That's really cool. I like that. Lit by the natural lighting streaming in from the window, there was a desk that sat before the guest sitting area. Inside sat a featureless woman who hid her face. Instinct told me that she was ugly, Yet I could not see anything, not disfigurement nor beauty. I perceived her. She was the Duchess. You're kidding me? The Duchess doesn't even have a design? Come on. I'm a little disappointed. Welcome, Your Majesty. The White Queen, and what name did you go by now? Yes, Alice. The Duchess looked at the White Queen before glancing towards me, returning a sense of pity towards us. Your heart is still entangled. The White Queen made a troubled face. You didn't seem to come to me for advice, beloved White Queen. I believe you want to speak to me about our dearest Majesty, the missing Red Queen. Yes, it's Alice's matter. We told the Duchess about my circumstances. I fell into this world unknown and was seeking the Red Queen in order to find a way home. We left out the part where the Red Queen was dismembered, but the Duchess already knew. You were searching for the Red Queen, but the Red Queen has been dismembered. Even to request aid from her, you must assemble all of her pieces. As the Duchess spoke, the White Queen had a distant gaze. As it so happens, I have her left leg in my possession. The White Queen's lids lifted in surprise. She smiled diplomatically. In that case, would you give it to us? I will be willing to give it to a pair of guests at today's ball. It would be unfair for me to hand it off to you when another pair would have had to show their prowess to earn the limb. The White Queen frowned. I will offer something in exchange. You've nothing to offer, nor you have a true desire to meet our dearest Majesty again in this form or another. Of course, there are only my own thoughts. Forgive me for assuming, but I cannot give you this limb like this. Rather than letting her offer something in exchange, would it be better for me to do so as the person searching? What would convince you to give up the limb, Duchess? I will hold a little game today. If you win, then the limb will be yours. A game? Yes, a game. Our dearest Majesty loved her games, even when they were much too often cruel games with no winner, not even herself. The White Queen looked angry. I'm sure that Her Majesty, the White Queen, remembers. The White Queen's expression quickly shifted to an upset one. Will you not do me a favor, Duchess? No, not even for you. Her Majesty's most beloved. The White Queen looked away. Again, she was smiling. Finding a little more we could say to convince the Duchess, we left the Duchess's parlor, seen off to the door by her. We returned to the ballroom to wait. The quartet continued playing. The previous crowd saw the troubled look on the White Queen's face and decided not to approach, only watching her from afar. Dancing pairs filled the floor. The White Queen eyed me as if she wanted to request something. Oh god. Honestly, reading this makes me tired, but in a good way. When I turned to question her, she pretended to look at the refreshments. Do you like dancing? She looked hesitant. Just a normal amount. You needn't feel restricted by me. I'll feel fine by myself if you would prefer to have a dance or a few now that you're here. She smiled. Alice, what is it? May I invite you to dance? I took her hand and we went towards the dance floor. The next song started. Tap, tap, step, step. A practice sequence of footwork moving across the room at a rhythm of the music. We danced while gazing into each other's eyes. Without even saying what we should dance, we just danced. I took Alice's part. She took the White Queen's part. There was nothing more. Feeling ambitious, I twirled her around and chuckling as she grew a little flustered when I caught her. Aw, it's adorable. I saw a strange expression, as if she had expected something different, but the smile that floated in her eyes reassured me that I hadn't done wrong. The White Queen always looking somewhere else, perhaps to the future, perhaps to the past, perhaps to a person who wasn't there, even though we were here right now. This was our dance alone. Thank you. No, I enjoyed that. Can we dance together again one day? Perhaps one day we should. The music stopped along with the dancing. It was at this time that the Duchess made her appearance. Behind her was a servant carrying a severed leg under a red cloth. Tonight we have a special gift to be given to a single guest. A hushed whispering ran through the ballroom. All the guests guessed at what the White Queen and I had already learned. We are holding a chess tournament. Oh, dude, it'd be so cool if I could. It'd be so cool if I could actually play chess in this game, because I'm actually really good at chess. It's one of my favorite board games to play whenever I don't have technology on my side. Like, I always used to play chess with my grandfather before he passed away. Rest in peace, Grandpa. But me and him, we always talk over the computer. We always played chess together, and it was super fun. Like, it was when I was like really little. Anyways, the usual game that ends when the king has fallen, even here where the king has long gone. Of course, the winner shall receive the prize. The servant removed the cloth. All around the guests let out a collective gasp. What, you may ask? Why, it can only be our dearest Majesty's leg. May the best strategies win. The Duchess clapped. The servants began to move around, setting up tables and chess sets in a matter of minutes. With a matchup list created, the tournament started. Here was an exercise left to the reader. If the given name and a player terribly good at a game, what would happen? Naturally, a player would win, and win again. To my surprise, for this game that was chess, the player who was terribly good was the White Queen, even with the handicap of Alice as a teammate. She was smiling all the while. We made our way to the finals, where we met with the last opponent. Come on, really? I don't even get to play chess? Come on. I'm a little disappointed now. Not at a table, but at the cleared out space in the ballroom with a large chessboard overlaid. The White Queen made a troubled expression. The last opponent was a duchess. Around her lined up stood 1 1/3 dozen soldiers dressed up in black, like chess. Oh, it's one of those oversized chessboards. Oh, I remember that. The White Queen looked disgusted. Human chess, Duchess? Our dearest Majesty enjoy watching games like this. One of you have to take the role of a piece, and otherwise I will provide the other pieces for you to play with. Please take your time to decide. Those blades that the Duchess's black piece wielded looked heavy and sharp, dangerous. The White Queen looked troubled. She looked to me and gave me a worried smile. Alice, let me. You could get hurt, White Queen. She frowned at my words. I would say the same to you. At the very least, the Duchess would hesitate to hurt me, for I am the White Queen. However, you are Alice. I know. In that case, we stood at the standstill for so long the Duchess had to set the white pieces shuffle in to take their spots on the board. One of us had to be a human chess piece. Oh no, I have to choose between them! Oh, I actually don't know. Okay, I've been recording for almost an hour. So, let me know in the comments. Which one of us should be the human chess piece? Should it be me or the White Queen? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, be sure to share this video with your friends, and also, make sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!